My name is Younes, and my friend here, Sunny. We are going to talk about efficiency in Figma prototyping. So, do we have anyone who's using Figma right now?
Maybe.
Developers included? No developers here? Okay, good. What we're going to do is not talk about how to use the Figma, but instead on how to improve and manage the timing in prototyping in Figma. So, I forgot the remote. Here's where the problems start. So for the past year, since we've been working together, one of the major problems that we had was talking with the developers on scaling problems. PPI and DPR. So what does PPI and DPR stand for? PPI is for pixel per inch. So the devices, as you see, a desktop monitor, a tablet, and iPhone. And as they become smaller, users tend to keep them closer to their eyes. In that case, manufacturers have to jam more pixels into a tiny screen. So what happens here is that the manufacturer defines a bigger pixel count to a 1 pixel. That is the CSS standard. DPR is defined by the manufacturer. So why does it matter? If you're developing for the web, the Chrome standard for the minimum screen is 320 pixels. You better use that. Probably developers will hate you less if you use that. And you can also be fine with 360 pixels. That is what you get in iPhone SE. And as far as I know, that's like the smallest screen that you can target with today's phones. So you're probably fine with that. But also, if you are developing a software for a phone or any device, there are templates. If you use those templates, you don't have to worry about any of this. So you can completely skip this if you're using the templates. Next, it's better to use a separate file for the assets. This is your library. When you create a text style, color, any effect, or buttons, any frequent component that you use, it's better that it's when it's kept in one file. In that way, you can use those files, those components in any single file separately. You don't have to worry about updating them individually in those files later. There will be no duplicate assets in those files. And also, when you add a new file, a new asset to your library, that would be available everywhere by default. So when you or your collaborator, teammates want to call those assets in the file, they don't have to update them manually. Using Figma pages more often. In case it doesn't break your prototype, it's better that you use pages separately. Name those pages. When the developers are going to work on those, they will be having an easier time navigating through those pages. Also, this would help with communication between your team members, all of the team, not just the designers. And also, if you're taking some vacation days or having some sick days, I don't know if you're like playing games in your sick days, sometimes I do. When you're taking some sick days or anything, or most importantly, when you're hopping back and forth between projects, it happens a lot in startups. I've been there. So when you go back to your design, you're completely out of the loop. And you have to navigate through your vast sea of pages to realize what you were working on before. Always utilize auto layout unless you can't achieve it with Figma. Figma already offers these three tools: constraints, auto layout, and scroll behaviors. When you combine these three, you can actually create scalable pages that you can spend a lot of time creating them, but as a result, your page will be more flexible, and you don't have to spend additional time creating extra pages separately. Creating export presets. Sometimes when we create pages, we add full-size images because we need the original image. Usually it's an illustration. We need to keep that file in our design. So what happens is, I notice accidentally sometimes developers get those original images that can be very big in size, like megabytes, 10 megabytes, and that's quite disastrous when you're having that in your final project. And it would reduce the loading time. What you will do is actually create those export presets and make sure that the developers are aware of these export presets. Most likely you would set a predefined pixel, or you can use the scaling that is provided by Figma. But something else is that actually this drop-down in Figma is also a text input. So you can set your predefined pixel, how many you want, or scaling, and just give it to the developers. They will use that one. So for all the things that I talked about just now, Figma recently pushed a new update during last week, which is adding a lot of features. My friend Sunny here is going to talk about this.